We're very sought after for our problem-solving skills, our compassion, our generosity, and our just the way we are with other people. So that in itself is part of the rewarding factor there. When I was fortunate enough to do a second one in 2004-05, 1996, I was there as a training capacity. I worked at the National Airport as well too as conducted some training with the traffic section for training them how to ride motorcycles. Many of which who'd never even ridden a bicycle, let alone a motorcycle. So we had an interesting time at that point. It was fairly stable. Port-au-Prince, still weak infrastructures and very broken down, but fairly calm and non-violent. 2004, again with the overthrow, we fast forward, was the overthrow of the Aristide government. There was the possibility of another coup happening. So much of the international community suggested that Mr. Aristide, for his own safety and the safety of the country, that he should leave, and then they would have another election. So in 2004, the mission MINUSTA, as you might hear the acronym, was there again as it was a support mission to stabilize the climate to lead up to, again, another set of democratic elections. For the police force, the work that we had for the mandate, again, was to rebuild what had broken down through the 90s. They went from 15,000 officers trained back down to 3,000. Myself, I was down there in a media capacity as a spokesperson for the civilian police component of the mission. And worked solely in Port-au-Prince at the headquarter buildings, and then traveled throughout the country during the 9-month stint, covering the mandate of the mission and, of course, reacting to the incidents that were occurring.
In 2005, Naramata School and Community sent you with school supplies. Tell me a bit about what you did with those gifts, and in your heart and mind, how was Naramata at that time linked with Haiti?
That was an interesting project, and again back then there was the infrastructures for getting shipping goods down there, so it was a feasible thing to do. What we had done through the Naramata Elementary School was we connected our school and students with this fundraiser drive on this side of the world, and essentially was actually during my daily travels between the two headquarters building was essentially a walk from 2 blocks up to the next building, and between the two headquarters there was a very small school. Essentially it was two-story concrete buildings that were half broken down, and there was probably a total of about 7 classrooms, and there was ages of kids ranging from kindergarten, preschool, to probably would equate to probably grade 8 or grade 9 students. And so I would stop in every once in a while and chat with the principal or director of the school, and then saw what their conditions were, and it seemed quite obvious that any direction you would go, there was orphanages, schools, mission points that you could assist, and here this was on our doorstep. So I thought, well, it made sense, and it was an easy thing to do, that they were right in the UN's neighborhood. So we amassed school supplies and small gifts, as well as an amount of money, and what we did was we had the Naramata school kids take photos of themselves with some placards, some banners about Naramata, and then it was interesting because then I was able to bring those photos down and present them with the gifts while I was there, and then had the kids on the Haitian side hold the pictures of our Naramata side kids, and of course on the Haitian side they drew up banners, and in some of the photos you can see that they were thanking their friends of Naramata, British Columbia, Canada. So I spent the day there that day presenting the gifts, and it was quite an interesting project.
So disasters like this are certainly overwhelming, and we are here in quiet and orderly Naramata. But what can we do as concerned and generous Naramatians? What do we have capacity to do to help Haiti?
Any aid and funds that, no matter how big, how small, never think that, oh, even a few dollars that I donate doesn't really amount to much, but it does, considering that the average daily income of a person who is working, give it that 80% of the population is unemployed. $2 a day is what they would make for employment if they were employed. Our federal government as well too has stated that they will match everything that private donations are made, they will match it. So your money right off the bat is doubled. What's evolving before us as well too is the total rebuild of a country, a city itself of 3 million people. That's a very densely populated area that is 80% if not more destroyed. That is all infrastructures, physical infrastructures, social institutes, government institutes, medical care. It's quite mind-boggling. So I think with us here in our lovely communities and our lovely lifestyles and the wealth that we have, certainly anything that you can donate will certainly go to a good cause. Haiti, over the decades, the past 25 years, a lot of work has been done there. Everything that has been done. Everything that has been done there is undone.
Deeply emotional disasters hit you on several fronts, Dan. Besides the countless casualties and the physical damage to buildings, you've personally lost colleagues.
Yes, it was very tragic that the RCMP this week did have to announce that we lost 2 more RCMP members there. The death of Mark Gallagher and Doug Coates marks the 3rd Canadian police officers, RCMP officers, to lose their lives while on mission in Haiti, with the previous one, L.A. Bourque, who was shot on his way to the airport back in 05-06. We undertake and volunteer for these international missions because we recognize the value and the expertise that we can bring to the locations, to these countries and cultures. And again, as Canadians and as police officers, certainly it's a very intriguing opportunity that we see that it's very hard to resist and decline the opportunity to take and go down there and volunteer for the duties. There's the violence in itself that you can encounter, as well though too as the physical environment has many risks, that being with the driving conditions, the poor road conditions, as well as health risks. But Canadian law enforcement personnel from municipal forces in the RCMP that have participated in peacekeeping operations since the late 80s now, we are world leaders in participation with the United Nations missions on the civilian police component of these missions, where we have laid the foundations for the best practices. And again, it's proven, and you can see it when you do participate in these missions, and to see how valued and esteemed we are, and thanked and loved for our efforts. This week, as everybody, I watched in horror on the 12th. And I think the first big visual impact that many of us have commented on was the symbolism and just the destruction when they showed the images of the Haitian National Presidential Palace. It's a very historical building, very symbolic and dear to the hearts of many Haitians. So when we saw the destruction to the palace, that in itself was the first cue as to the destruction that was probably we would see unfolding and what it is. The day of it happened, as I did, probably many previous members that have done previous peacekeeping did phone our peace operations branch in Ottawa. I was on the phone with our Deputy Commissioner here in British Columbia, Deputy Commissioner Gary Bass, and said that if we were looking at deployment of an emergency resource group, that certainly I'd like to be the first to volunteer from British Columbia. I would like to go back at some point in time if I was called upon to go. I'd certainly be on a plane.